So now the Pope has criticized the unfettered capitalism and the excesses that it leads to, and the fact that people have lost their eye on the prize, which is supposed to be helping the poor and the needy as Christians, right? And he said that he was worried, quote, about an economy of exclusion and inequality. And God bless him for saying that. Most people really applauded that. His approval ratings are now sky high among U.S. Catholics, worldwide Catholics, and among all Americans, right? Those are polls that we recently did. And he said that he was blaming ideologies that defend the absolute autonomy of the marketplace and financial speculation. Because, of course, he's factually correct here as well, that financial speculation led to the epic 2008 collapse, which has had reverberations throughout not just the U.S., but the whole world, including Europe, and the devastation that it wrought. Here in America, we lost 8 million jobs, and it's in the economic recovery. Over 90% of the gains in 2010, as an example, went to the top 1%. Okay, so even when we are recovering, it's actually the rich that are recovering. And in a story we did yesterday, we showed that the average median income since the recovery has actually gone down 4.4%. So the Pope is right on the facts, and he's right in pointing out that if you're a real Christian, you would help the poor and be concerned about this inequality and the excesses. So what has happened? Turns out billionaires in New York are really mad with the Pope. Oh, I love this. So it turns out there's a bunch of billionaires that are raising money to renovate St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, very famous cathedral in New York. They're raising $180 million, and now they're saying, whoa, 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 this Pope better take it easy. Otherwise, we might not contribute as much as we were going to before. I mean, the irony of that statement is so overwhelming, and the fact that they can't see it is amazing. So the guy leading this effort is Ken Langone. He's a billionaire. He's actually the guy that went after Elliot Spitzer, because Elliot Spitzer was going after the financial speculators. Ken Langone is as bad a guy as there is, okay? And then when you talk about financial speculators and Wall Street, now he originally was one of the founders of Home Depot, but now, of course, has a lot of money and deals with that money on Wall Street, et cetera. He's kind of patient zero in terms of the excesses of our economy and all the things that have gone wrong. Now, to be fair to him, he is raising money for this church, so that's a good movement, but he has a warning. He says, it's not me, but I got another billionaire friend who's mad at the Pope. He says he might withdraw his money from the church. He says, I've told the Cardinal, referring to Cardinal Timothy Dolan in New York, Your Eminence, this is one more hurdle I hope we don't have to deal with. You want to be careful about generalities. Oh, damn. What an awesome warning. Like, hey, you better watch yourself, man. You better know who the real power here is, Your Eminence. Okay, we're the ones with the money. So Timothy Dolan, of course, heeding what the Pope said, is going to tell this guy to go to hell, right? No. Here's what he said. Well, Ken, that would be a misunderstanding of the Holy Father's message. The Pope loves poor people. He also loves rich people. So I said, Ken, thanks for bringing it to my attention. Okay, one more from Dolan. We've got to correct to make sure this gentleman understands the Holy Father's message properly. And then I think he's going to say, oh, okay, if that's the case, count me in for St. Patrick's Cathedral. So here we have them basically bullying the Pope and the Cardinal in this case, and saying, hey, we're the rich guys, and if you'd like some of our excess, you better get back in line, son.
I don't understand the point of being religious. I mean, if I'm going to give all this money to the church, presumably it's because I love the church, presumably because I am religious. However, if I am religious, then why do I want to bully the Pope? Because theoretically, he is God's emissary on earth. I don't get it. It's crazy talk all around.
I think your presumption presumes that they believe in the church, and I think what in this case,
why give the money to the church?
Because I think there's probably greater financial, controlling people, and there's things financially. I think they view this as a financial. Look, the guy owns Home Depot. He could be using his own equipment to build the church. It's just it's a write-off. It's a write-off either way, I guess.
You're telling me that someone's religious beliefs are inconsistent, contradictory, and batshit fucked up? Are you kidding me? Where does this come from, Steve? Oh,
I'm sorry. I want to issue apology. My bad.
You mean it doesn't make any sense?
Okay.
It's almost like it's a superstition that they don't really live by.
Almost. Look, why do they give all this money? Because of ego. This is all about ego. He wants to say, I'm the guy who rebuilt St. Patrick's Cathedral,
Yes.
right? And by the way, how does that help the poor? Like St. Patrick's Cathedral, I've been in it, it's fine. Right, like
It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, it's an ostentatious renovation for $180 million. Now, if you've got the excess money and you want to do it, bless your heart, nothing wrong with it. And it helps the art community, it helps religion. But you don't need it. You don't need it. It's not like, hey, I was going to give $180 million to this AIDS project so we save little babies who've got AIDS. It's not that, right? It's so he can walk around New York saying, do you know who saved St. Patrick's Cathedral? It was me. It was me. I gave the money, right? And they can say, look, I made all this money and I pay like almost no taxes on it, but it's okay because I then give like a couple of crumbs off my table to charity. Aren't I a great guy? And then the third part of the ego is, watch this, I'm going to Bigfoot the Pope. The Pope thinks he's in charge, and Ken Langone, he's all about that, right? Yeah. So he's like, oh, Elliot Spicer's the sheriff of Wall Street? Well, I'm going to hire a private detective, and I'm going to go get him, right? Oh, you think you're going to stop us? No, we're going to stop you, right? Oh, Pope, you think you're going to stop our billionaires doing financial speculation in New York? No, we're going to stop you, right? And that's what he's doing here. He's basically showing the Pope, his junk, and he's saying, like, look, mine is bigger than yours.
And Cardinal Dolan is... he's just revealed himself over and over again to not be a real Christian.
He's a sad man.
He's just a sad man. He doesn't want to give. He's not going to give charity anymore, or health care to poor people, because he might have to also provide condoms to people or provide birth control to people under the Affordable Care Act. So he's not going to do $2 billion worth of charity anymore for some bullshit principle. And when he sits front and center at that Al Smith dinner, that is the most disgusting, gross thing. To see him sitting up there, it is literally it's like a painting of the things that's wrong with society. And here's this guy, this fat cat, sitting up there with all these other millionaires and all the powerful and in their three-piece suits with their white ties, and they're all full of shit.
Now, to be fair, Jimmy, just like the Pope, though, they invited half the room to be homeless people, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, they kicked them out. Right, I forget.
Yeah,
then Ken Langone says, there's probably a misunderstanding here. He's from Latin America. He's probably referring to those socialist countries down there. He says, quote, rich people in one country don't act the same as rich people in another country, meaning, of course, Americans are better. If it's not clear enough, he continues, there's no nation on earth that is so forthcoming, so giving as America. And he said the Pope can celebrate a positive point of view rather than focusing on the negative. So he's going to the Pope and he's saying, I don't know if you know this, but we're number one, okay? And so you back off. So what does Cardinal Timothy Dolan do? He backs him up again. He goes, I know that he's very grateful, speaking for the Pope here, which he shouldn't be doing. He's very grateful for the legendary generosity of the Catholic Church in the United States. So, like, USA, USA, USA. Yeah, that's what the Pope was saying. The Pope was saying, yeah, I don't like Latin American countries' rich people, and I don't like the rich people, but I love American rich people. Because they're not doing any financial speculation, or they don't have any economic inequality in America. That's what the Pope was saying, right?
Can I just say, I'm having a bigger problem here with Dolan than I am with Langone. Because Langone is doing what a businessman does. He's doing the four things you described, that's exactly what he's doing, and that's what we expect a billionaire to do. What Dolan is doing is acting like he's a press guy for both of them. He's pretending that, oh, well, I gotta kind of make the Pope sort of look good here, and also I know where the checks are being paid, so I gotta, be nice to Langone at the same time. And it shows you how disgustingly crossed up politics and religion and money are. Dolan is the same guy who every 6 months goes on Meet the Press and tells David Gregory the state of the union of religious affairs that then gets muddled with our political affairs here. So I think he's the one really that's the problem. We can't get it all the way up to the Pope.
No, you know what? And as the story's going on, I'm like, I kind of like this Langone guy. He's kind of badass. He's a dick, but I kind of get it. And this Dolan is a pathetic loser. I mean, he's like, can I kiss your ass some more, Mr. Langone? If you give a little bit more, we'll rename it St. Langone's Cathedral. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But he wants to hang out with those guys. It's the money, but it's more.
Star fucker.
It's more. He is totally a star fucker, and that's what it's all about. He doesn't want to be excluded from any of the party. Same thing with all those guys, with the Tom Brokaws and the Chuck Todds. They don't want to miss out on the party, on Martha's Vineyard. You know what I mean? They want to be there. They don't want to. They want to enjoy a nice cold gazpacho.
And there's one other aspect to this. he's the Archbishop of New York. So when they renovate St. Patrick's Cathedral and it looks beautiful, he gets credit.
Yes.
It's about his ego. He gets to say, I got Ken Langone and all these other billionaires to do this. Everybody that comes into St. Patrick's Cathedral, you should thank me.
Yeah, and,
Right.
and they thought that he may be the Pope instead of Francis. They thought he might get the call. So he's still in line for that. So yes, totally.
It is
And
a
that
notch
he
in his
wants the
belt.
money. He wants the money for America. They're upset that this guy from
Yes.
Latin America is changing
Yes.
things faster than they thought, and they want the money.
We absolutely must. We must end tax breaks for the church. This is ridiculous.
I agree
They
with you
have to be
100,000%.
taxed like everybody else. They need fire services. They need access to public roads. They need the police. They need to pay taxes.
Right.
They need to pay taxes.
Now, if I was the cardinal in this case, or if I'm the Pope, maybe I'm saying, oh, hey, you know what? There's a couple of billionaires. Maybe I should go pay them a visit, kiss their ring. I mean, they're billionaires, right? And I'd say, oh, yeah, Ken Langone and your other billionaire buddy who's in hiding, by the way, who hasn't admitted who he is.
Right, it's his imaginary
Yeah,
friend,
hey, I'm going to meet you
actually.
guys at St. Patrick's Cathedral, okay? I'm going to do a press conference, and afterwards I want to thank you guys and for your contributions and stuff. And they say, oh, great, Pope's going to kiss our ring, I'm going to come in. And then I'd say, okay, here's what I want you to do. Take your $180 million and shove it up your ass, okay? The financial speculators I was talking about is you. It's you, okay? And so I don't need to renovate this church nearly as much as I need to help the poor and the needy and the sick throughout the world. And that's what I'm going to do. And then I'd grab Ken Langone by the ear and I'd take him out in the front of St. Patrick's Cathedral, and I tell the press who's assembled there, I'm throwing the money changers out of here, okay? They're gone. I don't want their money. This isn't about their money. We're going to help the poor come hell or high water, okay? I'm the Pope, and these guys are not going to run the church. We run the church, and we're Christians, and we look out for the poor, the needy, like Jesus Christ told us to. That's what I would have done.